What's up? What's up? What's up? So, Team Tszyu versus Bowen Morgan. Team Tszyu of Australia versus Bowen Morgan of New Zealand. Looks like we'll be seeing this fight on the 16th of December, December 16, 2020, over in Australia at the Bankwest Stadium in Parramatta, Australia. Looks like WBO's global super welterweight title will be on the line in this fight. What belt is that? Global super welterweight. But anyway, Australia versus New Zealand. So, yeah, Team Tszyu. We all know who Team Tszyu is. Son of the great Tszyu. 25 years old from Australia. Currently undefeated, 16-0, 12 wins coming by way of knockout or TKO, coming off a spectacular win against fellow Australian Jeff Horn back in August of this year. Stopped Jeff Horn in 8 rounds. Very dominant win from Mr. Tszyu, solidifying himself as Australia's best, at least in my opinion. Team Tszyu right now is definitely the best boxer from Australia after defeating Jeff Horn. And yeah, and he has that legendary blood running in his veins too. So if you're Australian, start following Team Tszyu and start supporting him. And apparently he's going against New Zealand's best, or I guess second best, because we all know who the best in New Zealand is. Joseph Parker. At least in my opinion, I think Joseph Parker is the best fighter, best boxer from New Zealand at the moment. But apparently, from what I've been reading, that Bowen Morgan is the second best. Apparently, honestly, I don't know, because I don't think I recall seeing Bowen Morgan fight ever before. So a little bit more about him. He's 31 years old, from New Zealand, like I mentioned. Only lost once, 21 wins, 1 loss, 11 wins coming by way of knockout or TKO. His one and only loss came from Chris George way back in 2016. Chris George, that sounds familiar. Let me see who Chris George is real quick. Chris George. Oh yeah, he fought Josh Kelly. No wonder he sounds familiar. Yeah, lost to Josh Kelly by 7 rounds TKO. So yeah, Bowen Morgan. Yeah, I don't really know much about Bowen Morgan. Don't really know much about him, but it looks like most of his fights, actually all of his fights, have taken place in New Zealand. And who do I recognize? Yeah, other than Chris George, I don't. Oh, Gunnar Jackson, I recognize that guy, but Gunnar Jackson ain't really much, to be honest. He fought. Who did Gunnar Jackson fight that made me recognize his name? Lyoto Murata. I remember that one. Yeah, he lost by unanimous decision against Murata. So yeah, obviously I need to do more of my homework to watch actual footage of Bowen Morgan, see how good he really is. But apparently this fight's a big one over in Australia and New Zealand because of Australia versus New Zealand. Obviously, I assume, I'm not from Australia or New Zealand, but I assume that there's a rivalry between Australia and New Zealand when it comes to competitive sports. Boxing obviously is a very competitive sport. And like I was saying earlier, Team Tszyu, in my opinion, is the best of Australia. If you look at BoxRec, and if you look at Australia's boxers right now, Team Tszyu is number 1, and I agree with that. Really, really agree with that. Number 2, Jeff Horn. Number 3, Jason Maloney. Makes sense in my opinion. I think this ranking makes sense. George Kambosos Jr. is moving up. Oh, I still have to make a video about that. He has a fight coming up this weekend. Team Tszyu right now is just, to me, in my opinion, Australia's best. And if we look at New Zealand, the country of New Zealand, Joseph Parker is right there at number 1, and Bowen Morgan is number 4. David Light, who the heck is David Light? Never heard of this guy. 15-0, 9 wins come by way of knockout TKO in the Great White David Light. That's a pretty cool name, man. That's a pretty cool name. I've never seen this guy fight before. Fighting at cruiserweight. Interesting. Very interesting. Junior Fa, I know. Bowen Morgan. So Bowen Morgan is, at least on BoxRec, number 4. But a lot at stake for this fight. Obviously, the winner of this fight, will move on to bigger and better things. Possibly for a world title in 2021. It looks like Bowen Morgan actually won the WBU title, which is not really that recognized. And I'm sure Team Tszyu is one or two fights away from fighting for a world title. So I look forward to the future. I look forward to this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. I'll need to watch some footage of Bowen Morgan before I can actually make a prediction on this one. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Do not forget to hit that like button if you haven't yet. Please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Please, and like always, have a great day. Alright, thanks.